This webinar is going live on various social media platforms, and we have more than 1,000 registrations for this webinar. So with this good news, let me introduce to you all the panelists. I begin with Lieutenant Colonel A. Shekhar. Over 30 years in the field of education at the highest leadership levels, a former officer with the Army Educational Corps, Colonel Shekhar is a regular speaker at various national and international conferences on varied subjects, spread across scholastic and non-scholastic spectrum. A successful school leader, Colonel Shekhar has made a change as a leader in schools where all-around development of student is his forte. He regularly is called for workshops in school for both leaders and students, focusing on instructional teaching and motivation. A very, very warm welcome you, sir. It's been a pleasure having you on board.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
very gracious of you. Wonderful to be here.
Yes, sir. The next panelist is Dr. Chirag Tekchandani, double postgraduate in oral implantologist and laser specialist. Dr. Tekchandani is a nutritionist, a dietitian, and a fitness enthusiast. His credentials also include being a Tobacco Intervention Initiative Counselor, TII Counselor, nominated for Green Global Awards for his endless service. As a dentist to the society, he is active socially and associated with many NGOs. A very big hello to you too, sir.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for the gracious words.
Yes. The next panelist is our very own Ms. Anagha Prabhu, with more than 16 years of experience in administration and management of school activities. Ms. Anagha Prabhu leads Podar World School, Naholi Vapi, a premier institute of Saroj Ganesh Podar Trust, which has a rich heritage of over 90 years and a lineage to follow. Very warm welcome, ma'am.
It's my privilege to be here. Good morning.
Yes.
Thank you.
The last but not the least, the very gracious Dr. Sangeeta Menon, founder of Alive Again Healthcare. Dr. Sangeeta Menon is PhD in dietetics and has done masters in food, nutrition and service management, and is a certified sports nutritionist and aerobics fitness coach. A very welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much for your kind words. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, we are glad, ma'am. Yes. So we begin with the, before I put up the webinar to the panelists, I request all the participants to put your questions on the chat box itself, and at the end of the session, we will be putting it forth to the panelists. We will take as many as questions possible. Yes, thank you. So over to you, Colonel Shekhar. It's all yours.
Right. Yeah. Good morning, namaskar, and it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Right. Post-COVID world, the question which we always ask, and now it's almost always the elephant in the room, visible or invisible. How are we going to go through life as educators, as parents, as family members, as students, with COVID coming into the fora in a manner which is perhaps the biggest crisis the world has seen post Second World War. And the Second World War had a fairly limited geography in that there were certain areas where fighting was at its peak. Here, over 200 countries, the numbers doubling at huge rates, well over 10% of the people getting killed, plenty under all kinds of medical support. To even tackle it, how do we look at it? Where do we get our thoughts and inspiration from? And how do we go across? Now we have been into 50 lockdown. My first point to all of you is we are still unable to understand the bigger perspective of a life with COVID and post-COVID. The vast majority of us are looking at it through lenses which we are not familiar with and with a future which we are unable to even fathom, reimagine. With these basic words, I will only initially focus on schools and the way the schools have been reimagined. Can you allow me to share slides? Can I do that? Yeah, it's been disabled. So just see that. Meantime, I'll talk about. I'll only focus, as I said, reimagining the school and the scholastic spectrum, how we can do it. First and foremost, within a matter of approximately 72 to 96 hours, students were told to stay at home. Teachers were told to teach online, remote, distance, etc. The students were told you cannot move away from your house. Yeah, moderator, it's still disabled. It's a problem. Can we do that?
Sir, let me get connected to the host. Cheshta, should we allow the share screening?
Yeah, I'll continue talking meantime. I'll just finish it in the next 30 seconds or so. So the question...
Yeah. Sir, sir, I'm sorry, we will not be able to allow you to share because we lose some connections, some accesses.
Okay, fine.
We're
okay.
extremely sorry. Yeah, thank you.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So the point what I was trying to highlight is within 72 hours, the situations became different. The parent was made to be a co-teacher. The teacher had to move from face-to-face to online, prepare her. As I always said, the majority of our teaching community are females. And from a situation where the teacher was a mother, then a daughter-in-law, then a spouse, and she could leave it at home and come to the school and focus on what she was doing. It all became something of a khichdi, where the sambar, the dosa, and the chivda all got together in a mix which was unimaginable for all of us to understand or envisage. So it is in these circumstances we are looking at it. Secondly, we are still looking at schools and scholastic education as non-essentials. The third aspect of it is India has got over 16 lakh schools, of which just about 22,000 are CBSE, about 3,000 are ICSE, about 1,000 international schools. The access to the internet at best is about 17 to 22%, along with data problems, technology problems, data management problems, access problems, network problems. So this is where the school and the scholastic system is based. Plus 84% of Indian families have lost a substantial portion of their income. In this scenario, with numbers expected to double every 15 days, our peak going to come in July, as per the AIMS director, how do we get our post-COVID life forward? 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months before the vaccination and the drugs come in. This would be the big picture as far as I am concerned. My 3 minutes are over. Back to the moderator. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for being so punctual, and thank you for taking us through the facts. It was apt speaking, sir. Thank you so much once again. And now I would request Ms. Anagha Prabhu to take over for her presentation. Three minutes.
Yes. Good morning. Namaste to all the viewers, participants, and expert panelists. And I'm glad and privileged to put before certain points. I would say that those are the pointers which can lead to happy life. We don't know. Now I must say that once upon a time, close-up smile used to be the indicator for happiness. And usage of mask should not be the reason for losing that precious smile. With this note, I would like to just mention 5 pointers. First thing that we should focus upon post-COVID is to be prepared over the panic. As a parent, we have the responsibility to set a example, and that is more important. So if we are tough enough, if we are considering ourselves as heroes, then we should be setting ourselves, we should be preparing ourselves in a better way. Second point is, it is conscious will which will bring out the desired result. Perfecting every single task that we do, whether it is breathing or working. The mastering each and every moment is very important. So during this particular COVID period, I'm sure if we are concentrating on the skill set, that is going to result into better actions. And now, next point is, allow the fears to strengthen you. Managing emotions and managing the overall stress levels is equally important. And channelizing these energy levels is going to take us ahead. End of March was the time when really we were into a disastrous phase, and parents as well as students community, teachers community was into a setback. But that setback turned out to be a comeback when as we got instructions from our chairman Raghav Poddar sir. He is a determinant. He was determinant enough to take us ahead. And then it was not just core subjects, but art, dance, and music also incorporated as a part of teaching. And teachers were well prepared to take up the technological challenge, and digital transformation took place. So it is all about giving a tough challenge, taking up the challenge and moving ahead in life. Next, fourth important point is, we must develop trust. Trust grows in the relationship, and then that only is going to be collaborative expertise. It is going to be brought in 21st century learning. So last point is, again, we have to be kind to ourselves. So self-compassion is the key. And these 5 points, I hope if we are keeping in front, then we can lead a happy life. To conclude, there is a prayer which I would say, serenity prayer. God grant me serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If we understand and really the things that are under our control, if we are focusing them, I'm sure we can cherish the happiness and smile for future ahead. Thank you. I hope I'm within the time. Time limit is over.
Yes, absolutely, ma'am. And it was very, very beautiful of you of giving us the prayer serenity.
I hope I was not
energies are boosted up with all your 5 points about self-compassion, taking up the challenge. Thank you very much, ma'am. No, not at all, ma'am. Yes. So now we move on to Dr. Sangeeta Menon. Over to you, ma'am.
Again,
and before ma'am starts speaking, I would request all the panelists to do not mute yourself. Only the panelists, do not mute yourselves. Yes, thank you. Sorry, ma'am, over to you, Dr. Sangeeta.
Being a nutritionist, fitness enthusiast, and an entrepreneur, few of the points which I would like to definitely touch and definitely bring it in front of you. First of all, let's accept, all of us, let's accept the fact that we have to live with the fear of this virus. And why I am talking about this fear, because fear is the best motivator. Unless you are not fearful, you'll never be motivated to follow all the guidelines. So the fear is one of the accept that fear is one of our family member now, and we have to accept. For how many months, no idea. As sir said, 3 months, 6 months, maybe a year. We have to accept the fact that we have to live with it. And second thing is that we all are smart people. We are educated, we are smart people. So we have to come out with smart solution. As simple as that. So how we can bring out this smart solution? So whether it is in business or in fitness industry or in school or wherever it is, one important point which you need to cover is your health, which is, we all have to take care of our health. I'm sure Dr. Tekchandani will really take it up very well. So I'll be focusing on few of the points regarding health, like increasing the immunity. I have even come out with a lot of videos for increasing the immunity, which generally people know, but many people don't know that in spite of having good amount of turmeric or honey or all the spices which increases your immunity, and vitamin C pills, in spite of having all these things also, still you will not be maintaining your immunity, or you'll be killing your immunity by certain food intake, like having too many acidic food, too much of sugar laden food. It will increase your acid in your body, and it will reduce your gut immunity, and ultimately it will reduce your overall immunity. And apart from that, also having say problems like smallest, I mean the very small issues like constipation also reduces immunity. Now think about it. I mean, small things are such you have to take care now. I mean, you have to understand that you have to now, your priority should be your health. Other than that, you cannot get away with it. I mean, you have to take care of your health. You cannot say you don't have time for your health. You don't have time for your workout. You don't have time to make good food. No, I mean, this should be a priority. Apart from this, whether, one strong important point which I would definitely like to mention is that wherever whether it is in your business world, I mean, whether it is in school, everywhere, the leader, the person who is leading the organization should give training. We should concentrate, this year we should not concentrate on earning. It should be only training, how to follow all these instructions, all the guidelines which government has given. That training should be a very strong part of it. Every day we should talk about it. Let's start asking all the kids to come out with mini posters and stick everywhere. Let's start asking them to bring out the best, innovative ideas, how to make themselves more safe. So training is one of the most important part this year, which we have to focus. And one more thing which we need to, let all the kids know and all of us know is that, economy has gone down, a lot of, money loss. So for that reason, we need to teach every kid, everybody in the family not to waste, anything, whether it is food, whether it is money, whether it is anything, nothing should be, I mean, we have to take care of the wastage. You should not waste anything. As I have written in my book also, waste money. So so you have to be very careful about the waste. And last thing which I have to really I would like to definitely talk about is that let's be more optimistic. कोई pessimist सामने आता भी है तो भी stop them, overrule them, show your optimism. And let's spread compassion, because वैसे ही everywhere there's lot of negativity is there about coronavirus, about everything, lot of laws, economic laws. So the only thing which we can be ourselves is too positive, too compassionate towards each other. Let's be more good to each other. We don't need any more enemies. Let's be too friendly.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for such perfect points. I'm glad that you discussed the economy part also, which was much needed out here, as in how to cope up with the issues post all this with the economy, and plus the innovative ideas about the children. We could use it in our schools as well, and we are using it in Podar also. Our children are coming up with beautiful ideas during this lockdown. Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, Dr. Chirag.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to start my part by saying a very, very famous poem by David Cook. I wish I could go back in time to the things, to change the things the way they were. I wish I could go back in time and change some terrible mistakes of my life. I wish I could go back in time and undo everything that was not supposed to be. I wish. We all wish that, but can we actually do that? I don't think so. None of us have the power to go back in time and change things. Also, we need to put up with the fact, like Mrs. Prabhu, like Ms. Menon said, the virus is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
We have the US Center of Infectious Disease Research and Policy, who clearly said the virus is going to be with us henceforth. A very, very few pandemics that have spread and have disappeared. Not that I can remember in the near future other than polio. So the fact is, we have to live with it. A very famous message, which was all across the social media. Corona has a big fat ego. It does not come into your house until you go out. With the lockdowns being lifted, with the liberations being given, orange zones, green zones, and now having share autos, buses running, the trains are transmitting, and the communication is open. With all these things, are we really safe? And with everything opening, as Ms. Menon said, we have a lot of economic crisis, financial constraints being hit. Are we going to sit back at home? I don't think so. Almost all of us will step out now. So how do we keep ourselves safe post-lockdown? The only way, there are two ways of doing it. The first way is developing herd immunity. Herd immunity is going to come only and only when vaccinations come. And please get this, vaccinations are nowhere coming before September and October.
Yeah.
Like our Colonel Sir said, July is going to be the peak, which is very true. We are going to have maximum number of cases in June and July. So what is the next thing? How do we adapt to it? The only and only ways of adapting to it is, most of the points are known by everyone, but I would still want to emphasize, please develop an hygienic island. Hygienic island is, you will now be stepping out of your houses. You have to step out of your houses. You will not be able to sit for a much longer time. Probably 15 days, 20 days, a month more. And then the red zones too will have to give a little liberations. So when you do that, I request everyone to please follow the hygienic island. Hygienic island is, you are standing and in a radius of 1 meter, you do not let anyone come. Everyone knows we have to follow this, yet there will be instances wherein you are taking care in the front of you, but the person behind you is probably not taking care. Turn around, request the person to step back. I want my comfort zone. I'm not letting anyone enter to it. Be compassionate, be loving, be polite. Request the person will understand. And one does it, everyone does it. So please follow the hygienic island. Self-sanitization is something which is of utmost importance. Sanitizing your hands with a sanitizer is a good option. Wearing masks and gloves, yes. But a few things that I really want to highlight here is sanitizing your hands with the alcohol-based rub is the second best thing to do. The first best thing is washing it with soap. So whenever possible, please wash your hands with soap. I have seen a lot of people doing this. They're wearing gloves. When you go to these stores that are open now. We being in Vapi, we are in orange zone and a lot of shops and a lot of stores have opened. So I have seen a lot of people wearing gloves and touching their face. Gloves too can touch the virus. The virus too can settle on the gloves. So wearing gloves doesn't safeguard you. You still have to follow yourself. One thing that I really love about South Korea is, I have never been to the country, but then they follow the principle of the right and the left. For them, eating food, right hand, touching face, right hand, pressing the lift knob, left hand, taking things, left hand, anything other than something that is self-inflicted, left hand. Can we follow that? When you go to the lifts, don't use your fingers, use your elbows, use your knuckles of the left hand, not the right hand. A human being touches the face for at least 1,000 times a day. If you're using the right hand to eat food, if you're using the right hand to touch things, you know, you're transacting money, you're going to shops, you're using your right hand, you are very, very prone to touching your face in your subconscious mind, and you will be increasing your risk. So let us follow the, you know, the right and left principle, which is going to be very good. Like Mrs. Menon said, immunity has to be boosted. Yes, you will have to boost your immunity. A lot of food things that are available, turmeric, then, you know, Indians are very fond of kada. And I really don't know what is up with the soot thing. Everyone wants to have soot. Great. I wouldn't stop you from having that. Every possible thing that you take can increase your immunity as per our epics, as per our Ayurveda is true. Yes, things help increase immunity, but please understand these things will help you increase your immunity. They will not safeguard you from the virus. If you come in contact with the virus, you still have a chance of getting infected. So have these things that increase your immunity, but please safeguard yourself by staying healthy. Again, a very important note as a doctor that I would want to mention, vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc are three things that are really, really useful to increase your immunity. Vitamin C, everyone knows, नींबू पानी पियो यार, गरम नींबू पानी पिएंगे सब अच्छा रहेगा. Amla, tomato, sprouted moong, palak, strawberry are good sources of vitamin C. Amla sharbat, a very good source of vitamin C. If you can have the natural sources, really cool. If you cannot have the natural sources, yes, we do have a few medicines of vitamin C available in the markets, in the stores, over the OTCs. You can always have those. Vitamin D, the best source of vitamin D is sunlight. Should we be going out now? I am not sure if I want to do that. But yes, I will have to do that. So whenever you get a chance, step in the sun, taking into consideration you are following social distancing. Taking into consideration you are keeping yourself safe. And if you cannot do that, I would again say vitamin D supplements are there in the market. Pop in a pill. And zinc tablets are a great source to increase your immunity. We have a lot of food products that are a good source of zinc. You can increase the intake of those as well, and that will help you be safe. Very
sorry, doctor, to interrupt in between.
No problem.
I think there are many questions coming up, so you can answer these things once again because I find it really important.
Sure.
These questions are there as in what to use, so you can repeat it once again so that they can make a note of it.
I'll
okay, thank you so much. Yeah. Sure.
Just one mention I want to really make is very, very common mistake that everyone is making. We are now an addict to Netflix, Prime, and all the social media. And I know a lot of people who have disturbed their sleep cycle. Please make sure you're sleeping for a good amount of 8 hours, else you are more prone to getting the infection. A good sleep is very, very, very important to have a good health.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Yes. So the very first question is actually open to all, I guess. I would request Colonel Shekhar to answer this question. There are a lot of myths related to the current situation, like exposing yourself to sun, like the way Tik Chandani said. Exposing yourself to sun kills the virus, and many more myths. So there is a common question between most of the participants as to what information should we believe in at this time of crisis. Colonel Shekhar?
Yeah, simple point. There is a lot of nonsense going around. Simple, straightforward point. The WHO chief said the pandemic is easier handled, the infodemic is more difficult to handle, right? Touch an elephant, you will not get corona. Have so-and-so antibiotics, you will not get corona. Disinfectant. 8 out of 10 of these messages floating around are complete nonsense. Please follow due practitioners who are professionals like Dr. Chirag. Go through formal websites which are nominated by the government. Follow them up in the real sense, and before you pop in a medicine, please consult a doctor. all round, I belong to a family of doctors. I have doctors in the United States. The bigger problem we face is that the Republicans in the United States believe that social distancing is not required. The Democrats believe it is required. The scientific doctor says it's required, otherwise it's kill you. But the challenge much bigger is the misinformation and disinformation. So my 3 recommendations is: 1, keep in touch with your doctor. 2, access verifiable websites which will give you authentic information. 3, before popping up medicines, consult your doctor. 4, to the best of my knowledge, whether it is sun or otherwise, there is no conclusive evidence which tells you that the virus will go down because of X, Y, and Z. This is a layman's answer. Dr. Chirag and Sangeeta Menon will have a better answer to it. Thank you.
Yes. I request Dr. Sangeeta Menon to add in your points on the same question.
Sunlight, it's not a myth, actually speaking, that, you should go under the sun, but not for, preventing yourself from coronavirus. That temperature is not going to help you. But actually, we suggest people to go out and under the sun for the vitamin D purpose. As Dr. Chirag just said, that it is so important to increase your zinc, your vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D. Very important to have all these important essential vitamins. Now, for that reason, you need to go under the sun and not for the temperature.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'd add something. There are any number of memes, any number of messages floating. If your temperature is above a particular level, you will not get corona. That's complete nonsense. That kind of myth making is what is creating a problem. I have seen it happen. I have seen educated people sharing that with me. And when we question them, WhatsApp mein aa gaya, wo sach hai. WhatsApp University is the biggest virus which is supporting corona, the WhatsApp University, and I make it quite plain here. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. The next question is to Ms. Anagha Prabhu, ma'am. And the question is, should parents and caretakers tell their children about what is going on and in what detail?
Yes. Nothing has remained as a secret in fact these days, because 24/7 parents are also getting informations, and then news in front of us is always there. So nothing to hide about it. But yes, there has to be a positivity at the end. It should not be the scare, and then the child should not be getting afraid of. How to fight back, how to safeguard ourselves, that should be the thing which needs to be focused. And there has to be a protocol followed, and students also should be made aware of it, even by the educators, caretakers, as well as so what is more important is in fact the proper training and knowing, as sir rightly said, myths are not required. It needs to be, it never should be the rumors that will take us and lead us. So that's it. It's information quite needed, and it should be given in a proper way.
Right.
Yes.
Colonel Shekhar, would you like to add in your points, sir?
Oh, very simple. I mean, the big picture. We have had, and this is how we should understand this also. We have had well over 22 lakh tests conducted in India as of now. Just giving you an update based on what Shamika Ravi has. Out of this 22 lakhs, we have had less than a lakh of confirmed infections, which is about less than 5%, of which we have had 3,000 deaths. So the chances of you getting it and the reality of it is minimal. In terms of sheer numbers, India has got over 8 million deaths every year. What all the numbers are, Dr. Chirag would know better. The first point is, I support Mrs. Prabhu on this, be factual, yet be positive. Hiding it from children is not going to help you. Second, get your reality right. Do not take children below 10 into areas you are wearing masks. I say, what you can avoid, please avoid. I have my 90-year-old mother who is straining in the leash. She wants to climb up Mount Everest tomorrow morning. Restrict them. Do not allow them to do that. That's one part of the story. Equally, can we take the right precautions? Doctors are there who are in these PPs for 6 to 8 hours. Let us do it right. Let us make sure that life moves on. This corona thing is going to be there for the next 18 to 24 months minimum. When are we going to get our vaccine? Our sports will become normal only post the Tokyo Olympics. So this is a reality. Yet, should we live in a stage of fear or should we move to a stage of growth? Stage of fear is not going to help us. It is going to be stage of growth. Be prepared for the worst, yet be positive about what is happening now. India has handled it much better than many other countries. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. The next question is for Dr. Chirag. I think you've almost answered this question once, but I would like you to repeat it so that they can note it down. What measures can be taken on the safety and hygiene aspects of an individual post-COVID-19? Over to you, sir.
Like I said, you have to follow the rule of the hygiene island. Please don't let anyone come close to you in the radius of 1 meter. Very important. Hand gloves are for your safety. They're not safeguard you 100%. So make sure you have a habit of washing your hands. Washing, if not possible, sanitize them. Please do that. Secondly, sleep is very important. A few things that you have to follow now is, very important. I see a lot of mothers here, and you will soon have your domestic help coming up to your houses. So my mom asked this question to me this morning, "Kya karu beta, kaam wali ko aane do?" And I was looking at her face and I was like, "Mana karunga to mujhe ya meri wife ko ya mummy ko hi karna padega. तो अब मना करूं या allow करूं?" So I just told her, everyone is going back to normal, and so your maids will also come back to work. When you do that, you have to follow 3 things. Give your maid a mask to wear and tell her to wash her hands outside and sanitize her hands. Rule number 1. Rule number 2, please do not, भेदभाव मत करिए अपनी मेड के साथ, क्यों बहुत सारे घरों में जाती है तो अगर वो मेरे आएगी तो मुझे इन्फेक्शन होगा. ऐसा जरूरी नहीं है. Keep your mask, tell her to use a mask, keep her hands sanitized. One more thing that people do is, वो जिस थाली में खाएगी वो थाली से इन्फेक्शन फैलेगा नहीं फैलेगा. All you need to do is keep your house well ventilated, avoid using much of ACs, let her clean the house with the mask and gloves on. Your house should have a humid ventilation about 40 to 60%. If that is happening, the chances of the virus spreading is quite less. Remember the rule of the right and the left hand. That will really help you a lot. Apart from that, yes, you have to keep your children informed, like Mrs. Prabhu and like Colonel Sir said. Only if they are informed, they will be able to take care of their sanitization and hygiene. I have told my kid, who's a 2-year-old son, and he knows I don't have to touch somewhere outside. And he's okay. He knows there's some monster out who could do back to me. But if I am careful, the monster will not do back to me. So please tell the children that, you have to be aware. Apart from the more hygiene precautions that you have to take is use of disinfectants when you go out in the market. Ladies, please make sure you've tied your hair. Hair is acting a very big source of fomite infection and transmission. So that is one care that you have to take. Carry a bag with you. Tell the shopkeeper to just drop the thing inside. Don't touch the bag with all your hands, and then if you get infected, you could spread infection. So a bag, everything inside. Come home, leave the bag outside, rush into your washrooms, change, have a bath, and then you can, the best thing is don't use that thing for 24 hours, but like we have milk, we have to use it. So wash the bags, leave them out for some time, have a bath, boil the milk, and then use it. This is one thing you can do. Try and go cashless. Digital money is going to be a very big help now. Apart from that, the men who are going to business, we have a lot of women who are entrepreneurs, and everyone who's working, the most common touched places, that could be your tables, that could be your mobile phones, please disinfect them regularly. These are a few things that you have to follow. You do this, you'll be really safe. Disinfecting your phone,
Sure.
and avoid touching unnecessary things with your bare hands. That's it.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir, for taking us to the hygiene aspects. The next question is for Colonel Shekhar. The question is, when the school reopens, how are we going to keep the students away from one another? What about the sports activities? It is very much needed for the students. How are we going to handle it? Can we stop them from playing?
Great question, difficult question, not many answers. My simple answer is, if Prime Minister Narendra Modi becomes a teacher today, he will find the job of the Prime Ministership easier than becoming a primary school teacher. That's the ground reality with slight exaggerations. Firstly, please get the list right. The child is coming from the 6th floor of an apartment complex anywhere, Bombay, Vapi, anywhere. The child has to come down with appropriate distancing and appropriate sanitization, health, etc. He gets into a car, vehicle, comes into the school, gets into a process from everything else, getting the temperature coming into the school. This is going to be a challenge. What we require to look at is, can we restrict them from playing? Can we make them play football with their mask without touching each other? Can we make them horsing around without touching each other? The sad fact is no. So the question is, when do we open our schools? How do we get them going? The basic story NCERT is suggesting is about 33% students coming every time, a lot of shift system happening. My own understanding based on what we saw in various other places, say like Vietnam, say like Germany, which has started, parts of Australia, Holland, Denmark, etc., is the immunity levels of children are relatively higher. Let's wait and watch what the American system and the other systems after 2 weeks come back. My own understanding is lesser number of students, restrictions on sports and games initially, make haste slowly one by one. Initially, at least, sports is a strict no-no. I would strongly recommend that sports as a formal thing must be restricted. We might have to put in very strict strictures about it. However, the challenge of how to manage a classroom has to be contextual to every school. Atul Vidyalaya, the school I was part of, has got more space. Maybe out of your 30 students, when 15 come, it will be easier to do that social distancing. And the unfortunate part is going to be the teacher has to be with the students for those 3 hours, 24/7. That challenge, there has to be a very close monitoring of the student. So to my mind, this is difficult, but it is possible once slowly protocols are put into play. My last point on this is, children below 10 may not be allowed to come to school early enough. It's going to be about 10. So to what extent the balances will come out, we will have to wait and watch. We have worked out 6 or 7 scenarios, plus having doctors and everything else, etc. This is going to be a collective, collaborative effort. The support of the parent, the support of the student, the support of the teachers and all the staff have to be made sure so that this protocol tends to work. Tough, but possible. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir, for answering the question. The next question goes to Dr. Sangeeta Menon. Ma'am, the question is, what are the precautions to be taken by the parents if the child has a fever or cough at this point of time? Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah.
First of all, look at the severity. If we can call the doctor and mention about all the symptoms, what all the child is having the symptoms. If you can tell through phone, if you talk over the phone, call the doctor, and then only take a decision of taking him or her to the doctor. First of all, to the hospital, because that is another risk factor which is attached to it. So it is always good to have a word first before taking them to the doctor. And rather than initially, as I said, don't take any other chance, any self-medication. I would definitely discourage all the parents to go for self-medication. You should contact doctor, opt for the best suggestion, take the advice and go accordingly. And don't go to don't take the kid to hospital directly. Please call and then only take the decision.
Right.
And no self-medication, because this is the time when you cannot take any chance. It's better to call doctor, because the best part is that most of the doctors are giving help. I mean, through they are giving consultation through phone, and they are kind enough to do that. So we can always do that. And even if you are taking the consultation, you can pay online. You can do so many things, but don't take the kid directly to the hospital unless you talk to them first.
Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Dr. Chirag, the next question is for you. The question is, how can we boost our immune system against viruses? There are certain myths in regards to intake of certain spices which boost immune system against viruses. How true is it?
Like I said, increasing immunity, vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc tablets. Again, like Colonel Sir said, talk to a doctor. The doctor will give you the right dose, the right amount to take. So that is one way. A lot of food items that help increase the immunity is, you can follow Ayurveda. Kare pilo, tulsi, mat, cheshti mat, and long and soot and soft, and a very one thing that is important thing that is being missed is arusi. If you're having a card of all this, it is really going to help you. Naturopathy has a lot of sources that says how to increase your immunity. You can always follow that. And the best way to increase your immunity is sleep, yoga, exercise. You have to follow yoga and exercise. And one exercise that you, pertaining to Corona, that you really have to do is, those alom vilom and those exercises, the breathing exercises that have to be done. That is something very important that is to be done. Apart from that, the myths that are being discussed upon, it's a long list. The first myth is adding pepper to your soup, to your vegetables, to ghee. Is that going to safeguard you from the virus? No, it is not going to safeguard you from the virus. Peppers will not help you being safe from the virus. You may still catch the virus if it happens. One thing that you have to take care of, avoid eating outside food now. And in case if you have to have outside food, please go yourself and pick it up. Do not sit in the restaurants, do not sit in the cafeterias, do not depend upon the delivery boys. Guys, you go and pick it up and get your food out. The best thing is to avoid it. You may get a source of infection, not from the person who's cooking it or for the person who's packing it, but you may get infected from the person who's carrying it. He might not follow the protocol. So that is one thing that you need to take care of. Apart from that, healthy lifestyle will definitely help you increase your immunity. A good food, a healthy food will help you increase your immunity.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir. The next question is for Ms. Anugha, ma'am. Ma'am, some guidelines needed for this. When schools reopen, what measures should be taken by the organization other than hygiene and the other stuff?
Hygiene and other stuff excluded. You're asking about
Yes,
the measures
excluded,
that are supposed to be taken. It is definitely the thing that requires to be, like, timetable needs to be set up properly, because obviously the timings that are supposed to be for studies online and the things that are supposed to be done at home by the students, that needs to be set up. Maybe redefining, or as a parent, they need to, students' schedule needs to be made. That is what I feel that is important, because rest of the things are, most of the times, that is hygiene and health only, isn't it? I couldn't get the
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Colonel Shekhar, over to you.
Yeah, quickly. Yeah. First and foremost, there is a difference between what has been made out to be remote learning, distance learning, all this. Presently, almost everyone believes that this is Messiah from heaven. Goddess Saraswati Devi is there, technology is there, everything will work. First and foremost, this business of remote, online, etc. is for adults beyond the age of 18. Our students required to study anywhere is fine. They can study anytime at places which you are, especially for younger children is very difficult. Adding on to what Mrs. Prabhu said, systems and processes which have to be followed initially, they are going to be very difficult. 3 hours in the morning, say 7:50 to 12. Generally, when you look at face-to-face time, online time, asynchronous, synchronous time, all this to come together. And especially the majority here, it's for our kids where younger children are involved. How long will you keep them in front of the screen? And the doctor is sitting here, screen time normally would say this much. Do we require to have classes every time? 2, how do we get our online classes going, which we are doing now? Under struggle. 3, how do we blend them together? So there will be national guidelines, there will be state guidelines, there will be WAPI specific guidelines, integrated with what you have in your school, come up with a commonsensical, workable approach beyond hygiene and sanitation, where you can have very little scope for variation.
No,
and
one
most
thing I
important,
yes, sir.
yeah, my last point is, be soft, be patient with the children. If they are delayed in their homework or they are not learning well, be patient, be comfortable with them. Let's not go gung-ho about it. That's perhaps the biggest difference the teacher, the principal, the owners can have. Make haste slowly, think slowly, as the famous Nobel laureate said. We are thinking too fast now. We have to slow down and think slowly. Over to you, ma'am.
Yes, one point I would like to add. What is more important is also to talk with the children about cyber safety, apart from the hygiene, because now students are prone to using the resources online, and there is possibility of the exposures which may lead them towards undue things. So cyber safety is also one of the important things. And at the same time, apart from the usual thing, static power and the dynamic power, these are the two powers which can be developed as such in a human being. Game of attack and the game of defense. Right now, this is the time not to go for game of attack and really develop the other powers. That what is needed is to be intense, to be focusing on inner strengths, gain the strengths, and understand and make child to face differently, so that they can have the defensive mechanism first. Because there is no, as it is said, that there is no vaccination. So till then, it should be the game of defense that should be focused about. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. As we have some time constraints, this is the last question that I will be taking on. This is for Dr. Chirag. Any light on immunization of newborn babies?
What is the age of the baby, ma'am? If it's less than 1 year, infants usually are on mother feed. So if the mother increases her immunity, automatically the child gets the immunity. Right? So the mother will have to take care of increasing her immunity. And of course, if the child is not on mother feed, then there are ways and means of the same thing that is applicable to us in this lesser quantities and lesser doses to the baby helps. You can always make sure that the baby is eating warm food, avoid anything cold for the baby. Apart from that, you can always make sure that the baby is having a teaspoon of the kadhas that we make that can help the baby increase immunity. And clean environment, clean air, humid air will definitely help the baby to stay safe.
I would like to add one more thing.
Yes.
I mean, what we were talking about till now was about the myths, the misconceptions about food and the health part. I wanted to talk about this, that there's no one stop solution. So when I say there's no one, just a minute. Am I audible?
Yes, you are, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. As I said, that there is no one-stop solution. Whatever you have heard, like as rightly, Dr. Chirag was saying, that pepper won't help in getting yourself prevented from this virus, but pepper can help in increasing your metabolism. So when it increases your metabolism, somewhere it indirectly helps. So there is no one-stop solution, and every misconception, every myth has got some truth factor also attached to it. Like if you ask me, how weight loss is going to help to increase immunity, it does. Losing weight during this lockdown was the first thing which I was telling people. This is the best time you can think of, going for weight loss, workout, good have right food, because ultimately it'll help you in increasing your immunity. Somewhere it is connected. So I meant to say that, like I was also mentioning about the constipation part. Now, constipation is also reducing your immunity. Now, sleep. Dr. Chirag also mentioned about the sleep. People are on social media throughout night. They're sleeping at 2, 3, and then sleep apnea. So many things. Again, that affects your immunity. So, and food. Not many things are there which are collectively we have to do. Like going under the sun is one small thing which you can help yourself in getting the vitamin D source. I mean, that's a vitamin D source. So somewhere for this, for preventing, for the prevention of coronavirus, there's no one-stop solution. You have to collectively do, so many things to help yourself.
Nutrition is a huge world, ma'am. It's a huge world in itself. Everything is just correlated. Everything is just interrelated.
That's what.
Yeah. I will add one thing. After this, hopefully this lockdown, etc., is going to go away. A few people are going to make a lot of money. One are the ophthalmologists. They're going to make a lot of money. Second is Sangeeta and party. As such, we have huge amounts. 25% of India is overweight and obese. She'll make a lot of money. And thirdly, after 10, 11 months, a lot of gynecologists will make money. So these are the three things which are going to happen irrespective of whatever you say. Back to the moderator.
Ma'am, I would also like to take this opportunity. I have my book is released. I mean, my book got released 3 days before. It's called Nurturing the 9 months of your baby. It's all about leaders. How a leader, 4C approach by all the leaders, post lockdown. Yes. So it's available in Kindle. It's available in Kindle. You can always go for it.
Wow, thank you so much. We'll surely read it. As we got to know you much through this webinar, we'll surely read the book as well. So with this, we will go for the closing remarks. Just a minute for each panelist. I begin with Colonel Shekhar.
Oh, right. Somebody talked about leadership. I believe that we, the Army guys, have the patent on leaderships, Mrs. Menon. I look forward to reading what you have written. Yeah. Quick, simple points. First and foremost, there was trust being highlighted. India is a low trust country. We do not know how to trust each other. First point, coming from a school, soldierly, educationist perspective, trust your teacher, pay your fees. Working from home, we are paid. Teacher is working from home. Why the hell do you not want to pay? Each of the parents listening to it, please pay your school fees. you are not doing a favor. 2, please be patient with your teachers. They are in the midst of some of the most difficult struggles they can face. Please give them time and space. If, as I repeated before, Nelson Mandela comes up and becomes a teacher here in India, he will be accused of not having good pronunciation and his grammar is bad. Can the parents give some space to the teachers? 3, all of us, each one of us, show empathy. India has failed its migrants. If we could see some of the photographs, migrants walking for hours, days, kilometers, delivering babies and then walking after 2 hours. Show empathy the right manner, not sympathy where we say we have done it. Show empathy, follow up with what you are doing. So my 3 points: trust, difficult in a low trust country. 2, give space your teachers, please pay your fees, please support them. They are the unsung corona heroes. And the last point, show empathy. Teach our children the right form of empathy. We are not empathetic enough. We are living in good apartments. We have resident welfare associations who think that they are dictators who can demand anything. Let us be empathetic, respect people. We are in this together. Then only we will win this war against corona. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, sir. This point was really needed in paying tribute to our unsung heroes, teachers, and all the teachers in all the organization over the world. Thank you so much, sir. Over to you, Anaga ma'am, your closing remark.
Yes, education is actually the investment. So as rightly said by sir, it should be understood by the parents and that care needs to be taken to support the institution. Second point, again, I will reiterate the point that I said. Self-compassion is equally important at this time. Most of the times we blame ourselves and that leads to disaster. So appreciate people that are around you. We focus mainly on the negative points and comments that we receive. So what should be done is going ahead, moving on and appreciate the good things that are seen around. Next thing is emotional balance, which is equally important. We need to set expectations. Parents need to set expectations. Children also need to talk openly about the expectations so that that can be met by the educators, because educators also have dreams to see and they see it in the children. So that's it. I feel post-COVID is going to be the world, which is going to be the next normal, which is going to be accepted very well by the audience as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am, for a beautiful closing. I request Dr. Sangeeta Menon to go ahead with her closing remark.
As rightly said, sir said that, nothing comes free. No knowledge comes free. So every person should be paid, those who are giving service, whether it is through phone, because phone is something which we consider it as an entertainment. So we feel that everything is free, everything comes free. But all the teachers who are, really taking trouble, they deserve their fees. That is there. But apart from that, I also want to mention the same thing what I mentioned before. Teachers are also parents and parents are also teachers. So giving them training, the right training at home as well as in school or through online will be the best thing which we can do to take care of the children. And let's stop negativity. Let's stop spreading negativity. Let's be as passionate about our work. Be compassionate and spread positivity.
Yes. Thank you so much. I guess Dr. Raj sir has left due to some connectivity. No issues. Actually, we found that, people around us so negative. There is so much of negativity coming across through the television, through WhatsApp messages. So right now, when y'all are talking in this webinar, I can feel that I can see the comments and from the participants that they are getting motivated by your talks. So I am glad to have you all here in this webinar. And thank you for all the closing statements, for all your insights. I'm sure everybody has a lot to take away from this webinar. So before we wind up with the session, I would like to thank all the panelists, Colonel A. Shekhar, Dr. Sangeeta Menon, Dr. Chirag Tikchandani, and our very own Ms. Anagha ma'am for serving us as a speaker for this webinar. When planning an event such as this, it is very imperative to gain all the participants of participation of experts in the field. Your willingness to share your time and expertise was crucial for the success of this event. The Podar family especially is extremely fortunate with your presence. I also take this opportunity to thank our chairman, Mr. Raghav Podar, who has always been an epitome of support in each and every way possible for us to grow, especially through this webinar. I'm sure we have a lot to take away, as I said earlier. Thank you to all the participants too. Good day and a Podar pranam from all of us.
Yeah. Our appreciation to a good moderator. She did a good job of keeping us on the line.
Sir, you
Thank
snatched
Thank
my
you so
words.
much, sir.
You snatched my words. In fact, I was so.
I just wanted to end in 1948 when Kashmir was in the middle of it. Major Somnath Sharma said, firing from the left, firing from the right. I'm being fired from ahead, but I will not give up. We are here to fight. And he was India's first Paramveer Chakra. He died for the country. Around him, everywhere he was being fired, he lost his men. That's the kind of commitment we require to do. And that is what has kept India what it is today. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You were dashing as usual.
Acha?
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.